Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So I'm just here on a Friday minding my own business, and with the crypto markets not doing anything, I thought this was just going to be a relaxing day off for me from making videos. Unfortunately, there was a massive capitulation candle from Pegaxy today. So let's dive into the charts just to see what's going on, so that for the remaining holders of Pegaxy, we can sort of chart a way forward. And let's dive in. So in our last video covering Pegaxy, we did already specify that this potential scenario is really at play because during the relief rally for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto markets right here, when we overlay the Pegaxy price action there, the Pegaxy token did not move at all. So the lack of response was very alarming. And when you have a lack of response for a particular token, it means the market really has lost interest in this particular game, and it was only a matter of time before we get eventual capitulation. Unfortunately, in this case, it has already happened right here. Now, I don't want to make this video and I told you so because that's not the point here. Some of you are still holding PGX. Some of you are definitely worried about what's going to happen with the price action. So let's try to analyze what the charts are telling us so at least you can plan a way forward. So what happened with Pegaxy is we eventually broke this floor right here. So this particular floor of around 14 cents was providing a solid, stable support right here. So we were bouncing off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But if you notice, when you find a chart that is testing the key floor over and over, it is only a matter of time before it breaks to the downside. Now, you probably have two questions here. The first one is, where could we potentially go with this price action right now? Because right now, what we have is we have a price discovery to the downside. What levels do we need to watch out for in terms of where the potential bottom could be? There are a couple of ways of looking at this, but unfortunately, not all of them work. So for example, from a structural level, if you notice, what we were forming is we were forming a descending triangle structure. So starting from this major capitulation, for example, all the way to where we broke the floor, this descending triangle, once you break down from here, you do have a technical target of the height of the triangle. Unfortunately, you can't really do it this way because if you notice, when we overlay the price action right here, and where could we potentially go, we are going to negative values. So it's not really the best indicator to identify where could we potentially go. So technical targets based on these shapes when it comes to certain price levels no longer work. However, there are still a number of factors that we can use. Historically, for Pegaxy, when you look at this RSI level right here, which corresponds to this capitulation candle, and this current RSI right here, which corresponds to this massive candle, a potential play here would be when you look at the RSI, we may touch the bottom level of this particular purple zone, hopefully before a relief rally kicks in. That could be a potential indicator of where could we potentially go. Unfortunately, it's hard from an RSI perspective to identify what price level it is. Another component here is if we overlay a reverse Fibonacci following this particular impulsive move right here, where this is the 1 right here, so this is the high, quote unquote, and this is the low or the 0. When we overlay that particular structure, right now we are already at the 1618 extension of around 10 cents right here. Now, if you are a Pegaxy holder, you really have to pray really hard here because this 1618 of 10 cents has to hold, because from the 1618 to the 2, when you look at the Fibonacci, there is a giant chasm right here. A lot of tokens, a lot of coins really do fill up the gaps with Fibonacci structures. So this 10 cents has to hold. Otherwise, there's a large gap from 10 cents to 5 cents. And we can get there very, very quickly. With Vigorous, it was more a wick down to this particular level, and it was quickly bought up. And the current price level that we are holding would be around 0.002. From these two price actions, what we can surmise here is this particular candle right here is most likely the loss of confidence for investors of the game. The fact that this VIS price action was a wick means the players who still believe in the game have most likely bought up VIS because VIS, I believe, is needed for Pegaxy breeding, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or it's used for some other utility. So this buy-in was mostly done by the ones who are still playing Pegaxy. But unfortunately, you really have a loss of confidence now. And the reason for this is quite simple. As I mentioned before, because it's not responding to the markets at all, whether it's good or bad, it means we really have reached major bottoms here where the project, unfortunately, may be just ultimately forgotten within the grand scheme of the crypto gaming space. So if you're still a holder of Pegaxy, then what do you do now? So watch my previous video on the potential strategies to account for a losing investment or a losing part of your portfolio. There are ways out of it where we give 3 options as to how you can exit this particular investment. But otherwise, if you still believe in the project, then I really salute your dedication to Pegaxy because right now it's really not looking good here.